Hi and welcome to Creator Fundamentals. My name is Dan Currier and it is my mission to simplify YouTube so you and I can grow together. So YouTube has finally responded to the Logan Paul controversy. On January 1st, Logan Paul had released a video where he decided it was a great idea to wander into the Japanese suicide forest with a camera. To make matters worse, when they unfortunately came across someone who had actually passed, they decided it would be another great idea to record it and then follow that up with their best idea yet, which was to upload that to YouTube. Even going so far as to mentioning that he was making YouTube history. Good job, Logan. So I just want to take a look at some of the feedback that happened as a result of that. A lot of people, a lot of high-profile YouTubers came out in pretty much utter disgust at the idea that anybody would, first of all, do this, and next decide it would be the great idea to share it on YouTube. So at first, everybody outside of the Logan Paul family, for the various names that he has for it, came out against him. His fans came out in massive support. They viewed the video 6 million times. He had 600,000 likes on it. And Logan Paul and Logan Paul's little bubble probably thought that he had done a great thing. Well, the media has not let go of it, and YouTube has not let go of it. And I think Logan Paul even perhaps to some degree either realized his mistake or he just realized that he at least had to appear as if he had realized his mistake. So
I've made a...
In any event, YouTube finally came out with a response, and this is what they had to say. This was yesterday. In this response, YouTube put out an open letter to the community, and many of you have been frustrated with our lack of communication recently. You're right to be. Kind of weird English there. You deserve to know what's going on. Like many others, we were upset by the video that was shared last week. Suicide is not a joke, nor should it ever be a driving force for views. As Anna Akana put it perfectly, the body was a person someone loved. You do not walk into a suicide forest with a camera and claim mental health awareness, as Logan Paul did, or tried to frame that video when he posted it to YouTube. We expect more for the creators who build their community on YouTube, as we're sure you do too. The channel violated our community guidelines, we acted accordingly, and we are looking at further consequences. It has taken us a long time to respond, but we've been listening to everything you've been saying. We know that the actions of one creator can affect the entire community, so we'll have more to share soon as steps we're taking to ensure a video like this never circulates again. Now, in many different respects, YouTube really dropped the ball on this topic. This video was number 10 on trending when it initially was released. It also had copycats after it was taken down, and 2 of the copycats were actually up on the trending list. Now, you can certainly make the argument that there's a lot of stuff for YouTube to keep track of, but when your highest profile YouTuber puts a video out like this and it's on trending, you think you would at least notice. And it was an even bigger slap in the face to the YouTube community because there were so many small YouTubers, there's been so many YouTubers of various sizes that have been demonetized for completely innocent videos. So when we look at the response that YouTube had, and they make reference to actually acting accordingly when this initially happened, it kind of makes people scratch their heads who are having cooking videos and child-friendly videos and many videos on Creator Fundamentals that were demonetized. So it makes you wonder exactly what steps they took when this YouTuber decided to upload a video about someone who had passed. So that is certainly interesting. It took them over a week to respond, and it'll be interesting to see what level of response they actually have and, you know, if it's anything significant. Could this actually be a significant penalty for Logan, or will they do their best to sidestep that, as Logan Paul is probably one of their most profitable YouTubers? I'm just going to hop in the chat and see what you guys are all talking about. I'm interested to know. Let's get over here. Nate Dogg says Logan should at least lose his YouTube red shows. Okay, is Taylor letting me know that I'll be demonetized, I think. I kind of figured as much. And that's another thing. Don't get so caught up on demonetization. There's so many other ways to make money on YouTube, so don't ever let demonetization discourage you from, you know, stopping your channel or not producing as much. There's plenty of time to grow and develop an audience without monetization, so it's really not that big of a crisis. Let's see. Sensationalism and poor judgment have consequences. See, that's the biggest challenge with YouTube, and I think the trend that YouTube is heading towards and has. We saw there was a really big push of prank channels, and even the prank channels kind of fizzled out because this idea, when you create sensationalized content, you're constantly in a struggle to one-up your last video. And what ends up happening is they get to a point like those, like the husband and wife she shot her husband in the chest with a Desert Eagle to make a YouTube video. Obviously, they had no idea what they were doing, and of course, she killed her husband. You know, there's been these escalation of these pranks where they're just flat out assaulting each other and causing, you know, bodily harm just to get a video that they think people will laugh at. And unfortunately, with somebody like Logan Paul, excuse me, who is basically popular for doing crazy stuff, he just keeps having to up the ante, you know, to satisfy his audience, which unfortunately seem to be a lot of unattended preteens. Yeah, definitely. With the whole demonetization thing happening to so many, the timing of this was awful, and especially the response by YouTube was awful because it seemed like nothing, like the most egregious offense by one of the most high-profile YouTubers, and nothing visibly happened while YouTubers left and right who were completely innocent are being demonetized. Some channels were taken down, you know, so it really caused a big black eye for YouTube. Not to mention, for those of us who are creators and we're building creators, you have other creators who, you know, have a lot more character than Logan Paul may have, who have successful channels. The media, people who aren't into the YouTube community, don't really understand what's going on here. And when Logan Paul makes the news, he becomes the face of YouTube. So it's really important that those of us, and obviously much bigger channels than us, want to get a message out there that it's not, that we're not all like that. YouTube is not this cesspool of sensationalized content, all geared towards preteens who want to see somebody hurt themselves or do something inappropriate. So I think it's important that everybody in the community is aware of this issue and is tuned into it and tries to look for ways to create a more positive light for YouTube, because, you know, the better YouTube looks to everybody and to advertisers, the more opportunities there are for us. All right, let's take a look in the chat here. Okay, as Taylor says, YouTube could help by telling us some trigger words for titles and tags to help those who want to be ad friendly. I had a video that missed 4K views without ads removed. Anarchy. Yeah, and you never know. I think right now I have 4 or 5 videos that I've requested for review that never went back to monetized. 2 of which have the word Facebook in them, which makes me curious if YouTube demonetizes videos that mention Facebook. Dilly Dally Kid says, I don't think YouTube will do much. He makes them a lot of money. He does. But you know who makes YouTube more money than Logan Paul? Advertisers. So if advertisers make a stink about this or, you know, start to have issues with it, then you might see some action. So today's or yesterday's response by YouTube was kind of vague and very non-committal in nature, so it'll be interesting to see what they actually do, you know, whether it's a slap on the wrist or they do anything more significant. And I also get the fact it's YouTube. It's a really big company. They can't just put out, you know, to make any significant changes or impact, they can't just do it overnight. It has to be carefully considered. The one big concern, is, which YouTube tends to do, is when these larger channels do something in bad taste or incorrectly or however you want to put it or not ad friendly, inevitably it doesn't tend to hurt the larger YouTubers because they have other means of making up that money. Excuse me. It's a never-ending cold. They have the means of making up that money. It's the smaller creators who haven't really developed enough of a following to kind of branch out into those other revenue streams that are more impacted in the short term. Car Galaxy Studio says money will disappear because advertisers want nothing to do with that type of content, so I don't buy that argument. Dilly Dally Kids, I guess that's true, never thought of that. Nate Dogg, things he does scared me because the young viewers. That's my biggest beef with this. If he was catering to an 18 and over crowd, I still think it's incredibly bad taste what he did, but I wouldn't be as outraged at the fact that there are preteens who are watching this that, you know, obviously junior high and school can be tough times for kids, and you certainly don't want Logan Paul being their sole role model, especially when he puts out this type of content. Game Chase Pro, good, how are you? Thanks for joining the stream. Real quick, if you're in the stream, please hit the thumbs up button, and if you haven't shared it yet, I would also appreciate you hopping out and sharing the stream. If anybody wants to share it in the Creator Fundamentals group, I would appreciate that as well. Okay, as Taylor says, that would make sense. Facebook does not like linking off, so YouTube. Yeah, I'm kind of curious whether they're having like a little spat, kind of like Microsoft and Amazon are. Amazon doesn't sell, I think, certain Microsoft products or something like that. They actually have a little beef with each other. If YouTube was smart, they would start looking towards pillar-type representation. Dan, Nick, New, and Tim Smart. Thanks, Car Galaxy. I appreciate that. Well, I mean, there's so many good, decent YouTubers out there who have massive followings that would never do anything like this, and those are certainly the people that they should focus on. I mean, the one thing, if you look at the like YouTube Rewind video, that entire video is, I didn't know the majority of the YouTubers that were in it, because I assume you know, 40-year-old male is not their demographic that they're trying to push all these products to. But I think that it just kind of shows you where YouTube's at and what they're kind of focusing, especially with the prominence of the Paul brothers in that video. So, all right. Let me see. Let me try to fix something here real quick. Yeah, I don't know why. Try one last-ditch effort to make this work. I'm just going to share with you guys the a little video, but it didn't want to play, so try one last time. You let me down, OBS. Yeah, what are you going to do? So it'll be interesting to see exactly whether YouTube comes out with any real changes, whether they come out with some awful change that's just going to hurt all of us. The other thing that's interesting, and especially the timing, and I just actually did a video about it in the last couple days, was that YouTube has not been monetizing channels since November. There have been a ton of channels, and I've got a lot of feedback on that video, a ton of channels that reached the 10,000 view mark and submitted their request to be monetized, and it seems like a very large quantity of channels who have been waiting since November have not been monetized, which kind of got me thinking whether they were planning on making some change in the monetization process altogether. And I'm just curious whether or not Logan Paul's antics made them rethink any part of that, or in any way impact the process or how they plan on monetizing in the future. Now, they indicate that it was just a backlog. I'm not sure what the change was, why they would suddenly have a backlog. Some have suggested that that backlog was due to, or possibly due to, them scrutinizing channels more in light of the adpocalypse 1, 2, 3, in such a way that they're actually looking closely at these channels and making sure that they're not going to monetize a channel that is producing an abundance of non advertiser friendly content. But all these things in the beginning of January have just been building up as a nightmare on YouTube, or for YouTube. And Logan Paul was just the cherry on top of the sundae. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of changes they make, whether they're significant, and whether they have any negative impact on us. Jared Bowling, I just found you on YouTube and have subscribed. I love your channel. Thank you. I appreciate it. Welcome. There's also a Creator Fundamentals Facebook group. You can search for that on Facebook. And if you ever have any questions about anything, you can definitely share them in there. And if I'm not available immediately to help you, there's a ton of other creators in there who are happy to assist. But I'm usually pretty good about interacting in there. So taking a look here. Okay, as Taylor says, beauty, automotive, history, science, TVs and movies, parenting, lifestyle are all being hit. Yeah, pretty much any type of channel out there is being demonetized for what they're calling non-advertiser friendly content, all while Logan Paul is posting videos like this. It's really a strange state of affairs. But Rodney B. Hunt says it seems to hurt the little guys more when they make a change. It always seems to be the case. They haven't really been doing a good job with the monetization or demonetization with their artificial intelligence, so one can only hope that whatever changes they make, if they make any changes with regards to Logan Paul, that we aren't we don't receive the brunt of the change. So only time will tell. Generation Gap Gaming, thank you for joining the live stream. I appreciate it. Definitely feeling the not being monetized. Yeah, see, one of the channels that has reached the 10,000 view mark and is just patiently waiting for that email that was supposed to arrive within a week, and now for many it's been a month, 2 months. So we shall see exactly how long it takes them to clear that up. Josie Potts says they are definitely making it more difficult for small channels to get monetized. Texas Style Cuisine. Demonetizing for small channel like me is more aggravating than it is See, that was always my thing. It's not... Because I have voiced my opinion on Twitter, at Creator Fundies, if anybody's on Twitter. And my frustration with YouTube in the messages that I send them is not about the money. It's pennies, or at the very least dollars. It's the idea behind it. It's letting them know and keeping that in their ear that your artificial intelligence is not doing a good job. You're basically demonetizing everything. Here's the test I did. So I have 4 videos about how to YouTube that were demonetized, and I requested a review. The Logan Paul video, this video right here, the end of Logan Paul, which talks about Logan Paul and talks about the Japanese suicide forest. Granted, I didn't show any of his content on there, but it specifically talks about that incident and probably talks about or refers to dead body multiple times. It got demonetized. I requested a review and said it was ad friendly, and now it's monetized again. So they monetized the Logan Paul video, my Logan Paul video, where I made multiple references to Logan Paul posting a video about a dead body. They brought it back and monetized it again, but yet I still have 4 videos that have nothing to do with anything but growth on YouTube or how to use Facebook to grow your YouTube channel. Those are all still demonetized. So there's definitely some work to be done, and it'll be interesting to see how all of this plays out. Nate Dogg says, guys, look at Facebook. They are really hitting him hard. Trending tab. Let's see if we can... What's going on here? All right. Well, where'd it go? Dilly Dally Kid says our videos go up, monetize, then go yellow, and then the next day go back to green. Pretty much every video I have gets demonetized. Somewhere I've had videos that got demonetized within the first 40 minutes. A lot of them seem to get demonetized the second or third day. Most of them, after getting demonetized, will then turn back to green when I request a manual review, which I think is simply, for those of you who haven't seen the video, I did a video about how, as you may know, YouTube says that they won't manually review your videos until you have 10,000 or 1,000 views or whatever in a week, whatever it is. But there's also literature out there or documentation from YouTube that actually states that the automated process comes back around multiple times. So it's my belief that it's the process that's actually returning all of our videos back to green. Whether the clicking the review triggers the automated process to swing back around and take another look, that part I don't know. But every video I put out gets demonetized. So... And then it, you know, because I'm doing such an edgy channel here. All right, let's see who we have out there. True Financials, welcome to the live stream. Good to see you. All right, let's see. Doug Houston says, I still buy the backlog reason. The holdup coincided with the blog post by Susan, so likely they moved staff to deal with the kid-friendly platform abuse issue. Yeah, I mean, that would be interesting. To me, it would seem, if that's the case, when Susan, who is the CEO of YouTube, came out and said they were looking to increase the staff that handles that process up to 10,000, she certainly didn't imply that they would be relocating existing YouTube employees to do it. And it was basically, I believe it was like adding 1,500 to 2,500 new employees, because they already had like 8,500 or so, something like that, that were actually already working on that process. I think it would be really shallow and misleading if they are, in fact, if these are the same employees that do this, that also handle the demonetization, or the people who do the reviews for demonetization are also those who review it for monetization. I guess it could be. I don't know how many different departments they have, but I mean, when you think of the scale of YouTube, it just seems like that, you know, that's just cutting it way too thin there. Sinister Selena, hey, thanks for stopping into the live stream. I appreciate it. Alex Fishing, good to see you. Chatting about Logan Paul and YouTube's response. They put out a response on Twitter yesterday. Finally a response. We took a look at it a little bit earlier. Looked a little something like this. Basically, they indicate that they took initial or immediate reaction, and that that they were considering further action, but obviously that seems a little bit shallow to those of us who have every single video demonetized, you know, when a video depicting a dead body was actually not taken down by YouTube, but was in fact taken down by Logan Paul himself. You know, the irony of this situation, for those of you who don't know, and I think it was Philip DeFranco who talked about it today, there was another YouTuber who actually did a parody. He did like a reenactment of Logan Paul's video, obviously with no dead bodies, or no real dead bodies anyway, and YouTube took the video down, which is absolutely amazing. So the actual original video with the unfortunate person who, and we keep saying dead body, but this was somebody's family that they came across out there in the woods. Nothing happened to the original video, but they took down the parody. So I certainly hope now that they've taken that step that they really need to come down and establish some type of punishment for Logan Paul, because otherwise they're just going to have such a double standard, and I think it's just going to continue to cause them problems, and it really paints the YouTube platform in a really bad light. So all right, let's see what else is going on here. Yeah, Doug, I've had a couple closed caption that I've had to tweak. Nothing too crazy, but for the most part, I just click the review. I mean, I usually check my CCs to make sure they look good, but I don't typically have anything that needs to be changed, and they still go back to green. So I've definitely seen people who have had the closed caption completely misunderstand what they were saying and put some very awkward wording in their closed captioning that they needed to change, but otherwise, I think it just somehow misses the boat. See, my philosophy, or my theory, which I could never really prove, is that this big massive algorithm is going out there checking videos, and each time that it determines that an idea that it had about what should be monetized is actually changed based on a manual review of a channel that qualifies, makes me wonder if the entire system circles back to all the videos that were demonetized for the same reason and fixes them. You know, I got to imagine that they are manually reviewing a ton of videos, and each time they do that, they feed one more bit of information into the algorithm that helps it decide. And it just makes me curious if there's a process in there by which it circles back and undoes all the ones that it used that same logic for. But it's really hard to say, because they really haven't given us any indication of the type of stuff that actually causes demonetization. They've given us guidelines about what a demonetized video would look like, or a non-ad friendly video, but their actions have clearly demonstrated that they will demonetize just about anything. So it's kind of difficult to draw any conclusions that way. Let's see here. Okay, as Taylor says, what if after so many videos, views, subs, channels could submit a form for channel review to have advertisers whose products line up with the content demographics of the channel? That would be an interesting concept. One of the things that I think that they should really consider is having channels commit to, you know, once a channel reaches a certain size, having the ability for them to go through some certification process where they commit to providing excuse me, where they commit to providing ad-friendly content, and then you know, not scrutinizing them as much. But again, same type of thing where it starts to affect the smaller YouTubers when they're only providing that to the larger YouTubers just at a sheer volume. So it's kind of a difficult thing to do. But yeah, I mean, you should have, you know, they do courses for everything else. Why not have a ad-friendly certification course for a channel? You know, after a relatively short or small threshold, you know, maybe when you reach your 10,000 views and you qualify for monetization, maybe you have the ability to enroll in something that says, hey, you can certify that your content is ad friendly. Keep in mind that if you violate this, like legitimately violate it, you know, per human definition, then, you know, perhaps then the penalty is more extreme. But there's got to be a better way than this, because they've been doing the AI here for quite a while, and it hasn't really gotten better. And to make matters worse, they've identified that when people get involved and it's a high-profile YouTuber, that they still don't make the right call. There was somebody who brought it to my attention in one of the groups that there is a watchdog service that's actually like supported by YouTube. So they kind of, it's like a YouTube program where people are tasked with identifying problematic videos. And the Logan Paul video was flagged multiple times and sent to a manual reviewer, in which time a person at YouTube looked at the video the same day and determined that nothing needed to be done with it. So obviously there's a disconnect there. Hopefully YouTube realizes that they screwed up, and you know, whether they thought it was all going to blow over, but people still, it's been a week now and it's still on people's minds. And for the news cycle in 2018, that's kind of significant, because we have such short attention spans and there's always a new train wreck to focus on. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what YouTube says and how long the media pays attention. Dad Bod Project in the live stream. Thanks for joining. My latest videos haven't been automatically demonetized. They were different from my usual. Not sure if it's a coincidence or the content. Yeah, curious what you changed. Okay, as Taylor says, what if YouTube focused on promoting more medium tier channels? They could have multiple top earners. I find new channels every day with 20K subs. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good channels out there that they could be focusing on, and they need to, I think that they do a disservice to themselves by only focusing on the top. They said all these tiers. The whole YouTube reward process has always been off to me, where they spend they have the entire reward structure with the play buttons that's all based on subscribers, and then all their literature tells you that it's not about subscribers. Okay, well, if their ultimate goal is watch time, then tell everybody it's about watch time. Tell people that you want them to make engaging videos that help drive views. But it's almost like they chose subscribers because they decided, hey, if we tell everybody it's watch time, we're going to be too transparent that we're all about the money. So let's say subscribers is where it's at, and if you guys can build up subscribers, then we'll reward you. Well, obviously that allowed people, or caused people, to do stupid things like sub for sub and other ways of artificially inflating the number that really doesn't mean anything. Subscriber count is so irrelevant in regards to all the other metrics on your YouTube channel that I find it puzzling that they reward people based on their subscriber count. I mean, just in contrast, this channel, I had kind of an odd milestone today. I have another YouTube channel called The Average Dan, which was been around since like 2015. Today it reached 700 subscribers and 200,000 views. Creator Fundamentals, which I started this past June, reached 700 subscribers today. You know, so they're both at 700 subscribers. Obviously, the other channel has driven a lot more watch time, earned YouTube a lot more money, but according to their hierarchy of rewarding people based on subscribers, the channels are equal. It's a really weird dynamic in the way that they have chosen to identify success on YouTube, and I think it really sends a bad message to begin with, especially to new YouTubers and small YouTubers that I try to focus on to provide information. And one of the reasons that makes a channel like Creator Fundamentals relevant is the mixed messages that YouTube sends out to people. So they basically say, hey, you know, there's like a big billboard that says subscribers are important, and then there's like fine print that says, no, not really. It's actually watch time, and we want you to, you know, keep people watching for as long as possible and help drive revenue and all that other stuff. So it's no wonder that people make bad decisions when they're starting YouTube channels. is it Mukund or Mukund Zone says you look like Unbox Therapy. You know, I cannot tell you how many times I have heard that. I get that in like every other video. Somebody comments on my videos that says I look like the guy from Unbox Therapy, which I wish I looked like his subscriber count, because he's doing pretty well for himself. So anytime he wants to collab, we can do a twins video. I'm happy to do it. Educational channels get way more subs per views, but less views than other channels, says Alex Fishing TV. I guess it depends what you define as an educational channel. I mean, my other channel, The Average Dan, is all how-to videos. I mean, all the successful videos are how-to, you know, it's like how to renovate a camper, how to fix your car. That is almost, the sub count is almost completely irrelevant. The percentages on the people who watch the videos is like 99% unsubscribed. People get in, they have a car, you know, they're probably laying in their driveway trying to fix their car, and they look up a video that I did that shows them how to fix something. They get what they need and they go on. Maybe they subscribe as a thank you, but then they never come back, because they you know, they didn't come to The Average Dan for my personality. They came there because they had a problem and it fixed it. So, Black Artist in the house, good to see you. I feel so frustrated and upset with the mess-ups of YouTube and its changes. First the Adpocalypse, shadow monetization, and now the Logan Paul fiasco. I feel like making a video about that. Hey, that's what we do when you are compelled about a certain topic. Make a video. Share it with everybody. YouTube how-to. Educational channels get way more subs per view. So you think that YouTube channels, the YouTube how-tos, get more subscribers? It's hard to say. I think it varies. I mean, you look at what Nick Nimmin did on his channel. I went back and looked at his channel to see where his ridiculous subscriber explosion happened. And it was basically one video, I think, that kind of catapulted him. He usually gets like 20, 30, 40,000 views on a video, and he did one video that had 400,000 views in like the middle of this past year, and the next thing you know, he's blowing past 100,000 subscribers. So, how to type a good tag. If you're asking how to do keyword research, Mukund Zone, I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know where to put my emphasis. You can check out, there's a video on the channel called, I think it's like how to rank your videos. Hey, what's up? Jozu Shaka. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too bad. We're also going to do channel reviews at the end of this, so if anybody is interested in a channel review, definitely let me know. If you want your channel pulled up on screen for everybody to check it out, we can certainly do that. Okay, Taylor says, excuse me. I feel like when we bring an issue to YouTube's attention, they link us to their how-tos. I brought an issue to their attention recently, and they told me to flag did not act themselves. Yeah, see, that's the other problem. First of all, I have reported some issues to at Team YouTube on Twitter, and the reporting process, I think, is really flawed. Back when when my video started getting, every single video started getting demonetized, I had this one guy that posted a really foul comment on my channel, and I went to check out his channel to see, you know, what he was all about. And he had a very disturbing channel, which was basically turning My Little Pony videos into adult content. So I tried to report the channel to YouTube, and they don't give you the option to just report a channel. When you go in and you try to report it, they start asking you which videos and what comments do you want to flag to report to YouTube. I think the entire channel needs to be taken down because it's just creepy. You know, especially in light of all the changes or all the child protection that they said was a focus. I couldn't get them to take that channel down. They monetized or demonetized every video on my channel, but that channel persisted. I still think it's out there today. I'm certainly not going to mention its name because I don't want to promote it in any way, but it was pretty sad. And it was tough, too, because I was trying to communicate with them on Twitter, but I didn't want to share the channel on Twitter. But what are you going to do? Hopefully in time. Yeah, but Alex Christian says, Nick Niven has 5 million views and 125,000 subs. Key West Kayak Fishing has 18 million views and 73,000 subs. But that's just like my two channels. I have two channels that both have 700 subs. One has 24,000 views and the other one has 200,000 views. And you think it's just because it's a YouTube channel that it got, or that it got more subscribers because of the YouTube how-to? I don't know. Because there's a channel, British Cook. His channel has been out for like 3 months. It's a cooking channel. 3 or 4 months. And he's shot up. He's over 800 subscribers now in like 3 months. Apparently people are really big in really into clotted cream. I think was like his first recipe. And that channel, he's got like 80,000 views now. So I think it just depends on what resonates with people. And, you know, I mean, I can't even explain why there's certain spurts yet on my channel where, you know, I'll have days and days of higher sub counts and then it'll get quiet for a long time. It's like the ebbs and flows of YouTube. That's why I always thought it would be good, kind of like a stock market, is when you see the peaks and valleys of your channel, I think it would be helpful to be able to see that in correlation to like the tides of YouTube. I have to imagine that the traffic on YouTube has highs and lows throughout the days. You know, in the same way like trading on a stock market or something like that, you know, it's going to vary. So I would be interested in seeing how some of these channels, how their views look in contrast to the actual overall traffic of the platform. So Alex Fishing says exactly. So the argument is that the YouTube how-to channels get subs faster. I mean, it's certainly possible. I mean, there's probably no other content where you have such a captive audience, right? If you're doing a YouTube how-to channel on YouTube, you're constantly surrounded by people who could potentially be interested in your content. So it's not completely crazy to think that they may get bigger. But I've certainly seen wide contrast in similar type channels. It's just certain content resonates with certain people and it just grows faster. I know one guy that does vlogs. He has a channel called Driving Me Crazy. He does like videos from his car and other you know, other topics, things that make him think. And he did a video about Puddles the Clown when he was on America's Got Talent, and it like quadrupled all the numbers on his channel. You just never know when that one video is going to resonate with a certain group of people and just explode. So we just got to keep making videos and hope that that certain ones do better than the others. Out of all the videos on my channel, probably one of the most popular ones is how to live stream with OBS. It's the first time I've done a video on that, but that's probably the one that has performed performed the best in terms of actual frequency of viewers. I think the overall video is still YouTube Demonetization Explained, where I get into detail exactly how YouTube indicated the whole demonetization process worked. Aquarium Sunshine's Valley, welcome to the live stream. 3:48 a.m. in Belgium. Well, thanks for joining us. Good morning, evening. Glad we could hang out with you while you're up in the middle of the night. I certainly hope you don't normally start your day before 4 a.m., but I guess it's possible. Scroll back up real quick, make sure I'm not missing anybody. First time someone has ever said that. Hey, go me. Awesome. Now I got to remember how I said it the first time. Jozu Shaka. Hopefully. Hopefully I didn't just destroy all my karma by messing it up the second time. All right. So if we're taking bets, what do we think YouTube's response is going to be when they come out after this? Do you think they actually have a plan in place that they're trying to line up and get all the details before they release it? Or do you think that they put out this message just simply to stall while they decide what they want to do? Live Games Wild. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for joining the live stream. Aquarium Sunshine's Valley. I wake up at 2:30 a.m. every morning. Hopefully you go to bed at a reasonable hour. That would be a long day otherwise. Sometimes I don't go to bed till 2:30 while I'm trying to on a day when I'm trying to upload a video. But when you're married with 2 kids and 3 dogs and a full-time career, you have to find creative time to do a channel like this. So my sweet spot is usually 9 p.m. at night, which is why these live streams always start at 9 p.m. till about 1, 2 a.m. in the morning. I try not to do the 2 a.m. thing too often, but sometimes it's what it takes. Josie Potts says she thinks it's a stall by YouTube. I'm really curious, and I think we'll know by the substance of what they come out with the next time whether it's actually, whether they're actually putting something in place. But unfortunately, the track record of YouTube has not always been very, very positive for small creators. So hopefully it's not too painful for us if they do in fact impose any types of changes. Aquarium Sunshine Valley, did I miss your opinion on the YouTube response to Logan Paul? Well, we'll pop that up here real quick. So this was the response for those of you who joined the live stream a little bit late. In this response, YouTube basically, obviously, acknowledges that this is not something that should be content on YouTube. They go on to mention that the channel violated their community guidelines, in which they state that they acted accordingly, although they give us no visibility into what acting accordingly actually means. And they also said that we acted accordingly and we are looking at further consequences. So what that will actually mean, what they should do that would actually think people, or that people would actually think that they've done enough, remains to be seen. The fact that it's been 7 days, 9 days since this happened, that they're finally putting this statement out, makes you curious whether they've been spending this time actually implementing something, or if it's just they're just trying to basically do damage control now because they handled it so poorly at the beginning. So I guess only time will tell on that. It was interesting the way they chopped up. They put it in various pieces here. So it was a much more human response than we're used to from YouTube. So that was a little bit a different change of pace. But, I mean, I think they need to do something. I'm not really somebody who necessarily thinks they need to shut down his channel. But I think that they should publicly penalize him, and, you know, in some form or fashion. I mean, when you look at all the stuff that they did to PewDiePie, based on, you know, some of the attacks against him by, like the Wall Street Journal and stuff that ended up being taken out of context in a lot of cases, you know, they penalized PewDiePie a lot for things that he didn't really do or tried to do in a comedic sense. This was just completely, you know, boneheaded and tasteless and inappropriate and, you know, harmful to the family of this person that they came across. So I certainly hope that they do something that's, you know, in some way significant to discourage people from doing this type of stuff again. Because ultimately, if they don't, that's really kind of the biggest issue. You know, Logan Paul did a stupid thing. He'll probably do more stupid things because he's Logan Paul. But I think the biggest thing that they really need to consider is if all he gets out of this is thousands and thousands of more subscribers, there's going to be a new idiot out there that does something more dangerous or more careless or more inappropriate to get views because they saw Logan Paul do it and all it did was help Logan Paul's channel. So we shall see. Aquarium Sunshine Valley says, I think the response is very, very poor. Shutting down is not the best way, I guess, but like you say, publicly slap on the wrist would be good. PewDiePie was the first. They always punish the trailblazer the hardest, but it was a learning process for YouTube as well as Felix. I hope they revoked his live streaming privileges. That usually the first thing to go for community strikes. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Logan Paul fan, so I don't know how often he actually live streams anyway, but I've got to imagine for somebody who for somebody with his kind of following, he would probably make a killing on live streams. He'd probably tell all these kids to take their parents' credit cards and send him tips. They seem to they seem to agree with anything he says or does. On a side note, I'm really disappointed in my office chair. It seems to have lost its ability to stand up straight and maintain any type of pressure in the little thing that lifts up the chair. I'll be sitting here and the chair will go tss, 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 tss. What are you gonna do? I need to put out like an Amazon wish list for office chairs. Yeah, I mean, ethics are, and it'll be interesting to see. Car Galaxy says ultimately it comes down to ethics, and the punishment should fit the crime. I mean, YouTube, that's the other thing. YouTube has been talking a big talk, at least for the, you know, for the purpose of ensuring their advertisers that their content, or, you know, that they are focused on keeping their content away from, you know, videos that exploit kids and those types of things, or videos that potentially draw in the wrong type of crowd in the comments section. So to have something like this happen and not do something very public, like I said, the one thing that makes YouTube more money than Logan Paul is the advertisers. So they have to think carefully as to whether or not, you know, what they're probably doing. If you were doing this from purely a business state, they kind of have to calculate. They say, okay, well, which is going to be more damaging to us? To hurt Logan Paul's ability to make money for us, or to do something that loses the confidence of advertisers and causes them to no longer want to do business with YouTube? When they weigh that and they come up with a business decision about whether or not, or, you know, which one of those is going to work better for them, then they'll make it all warm and fuzzy and tell us that their decision was based on humanity and all kinds of other things, when the reality is they're just trying to make the corporate decision that is most going to benefit them in the long run. They're a business, that's how they're going to operate, especially the size of YouTube. Go, Pappy, go. Bite-sized tips. Yeah, I do need to get a new chair. The sad thing is, this is a new chair. I've had it for less than a year. It was defective, so I need to get another one. Aquarium Sunshine Valley Creative Fundamentals. Time for you to have 1K subs, so Super Chat becomes available. I am looking forward to that. We recently, the channel has shown some signs of kind of taking that next step in terms of growth. It's picked up, the pace has picked up, so I'm hoping Right now, Social Blade puts the target on 1,000 subs in March 25th. But I think based on recent traffic, you know, provided I continue to stay on the schedule that I'm on, that I can speed up that pace a little bit quicker. So I'm hoping, my birthday is February 14th. As a birthday present to myself, I want to be able to hit 1,000 subscribers by my birthday. So that's my goal. We'll see if we can pull it off. And Car Galaxy Studio says if they don't follow business ethics, it's going to cost them more in the long run. Yeah, I mean, they're basically between a rock and a hard place. It's, you know, they're basically like Subway and Jared. You build your guy up, and then, oh, by the way, your spokesperson is a really dirty creep. You know, so you pretty much have to. It's probably a little bit different to Logan Paul, because Logan Paul probably makes them a lot more money than Jared did for Subway, but you know, it's those kind of awkward situations where they invest so much in a marketing campaign that focuses on an individual, only to find out that individual is a bigger liability than an asset. I hope so, Aquarium Sunshine's Valley. Doug Houston says, thinking of using Streamlabs for live stream tips until I reach the super chat status. That's another thing that I think I was just looking at Streamlabs the other day. I think I did. Take a peek here real quick. Problem is, a lot of these things are kind of geared towards they're geared towards gaming channels. So like the ability to accept donations and things are kind of geared towards like the tip functionality and whatnot. I didn't actually get to see if Streamlabs actually offers the ability to accept tips and how it actually does it. But you know, interesting thing that you say that, and Doug, if you can tell me if they do that and how they do that. One of the things that somebody shared with me, there is actually a Streamlabs OBS out there, which the person who shared it with me called it Slobs, which I thought was kind of funny. But it's actually an OBS install that already has Streamlabs integrated into it. So it has like templates and things that you can live stream from. Of course, they're all, like I said, they're all focused on gaming. But they're all pre-built inside the OBS software. So you can literally go live in like 10 minutes with a cool looking interface, you know, with your picture-in-picture and your chat embedded and all that other stuff. So I thought that was a pretty neat setup. All right. Just want to look real quick. Oh, so they do have a we will take a look and do a little So yeah, so Streamlabs does. Oh, well, that's cool. I'll show you guys this here for future reference. So the thing that Doug was talking about, it creates a page like this, which you can actually send people to, and they can make a donation, and you can link it to a bunch of different things. Choose your country. Yeah, it has a couple different. it'll let you do a bunch of different services. So that's kind of cool. But it has like PayPal on it, so if you don't have the 1,000 subscribers, you can actually use that as a way to accept like sponsorships or people who want to support your channel. So I had an idea, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So this past year, I went to Vid Summit and brought back the information that that I learned there, and I did some videos and kind of shared some power tips and things, and it certainly helped grow this channel and be able to provide more content. I'm assuming that it's going to be the same time this year, and obviously it cost, this past year I did it straight out of my own pocket, and it cost over $1,000. So one of the things that I thought might be cool this year is, I think last year it was 3 days of training. So my thought was I would do kind of a sponsorship setup where I would allow people to buy a place either with their channel banner or their banner on a t-shirt that I would wear. I would do 3 different t-shirts. I would sell spots on the front and back of the t-shirts that I would wear at Vid Summit when I interact with all the other YouTubers there, and they would end up in all the videos that I do in collaborations when I go, all the videos after I come back in relationship to that. And I thought it might be a cool way to give people a little bit of exposure, kind of offset the expenses of getting out there again, because they always seem to have it in Los Angeles and I live in New York, so it's just a really expensive trip. But I was trying to think of a fun way to get people involved and allow people to support the idea, but also obviously get something out of it, because you know, I hope the content that I make helps people and helps them grow their channels, but at the same time it's nice to be able to say, hey, you know, I appreciate the sponsorship, but also you know, you will be your banner, either your YouTube banner. I figured I could probably do maybe like four banners on the front and 4 banners on the back of the shirt, or, you know, whatever type of graphics the person who was sponsoring wanted to do. But it's just an idea I had. It seems like a cool thing to do, and, you know, it would certainly be a conversation starter. There's obviously a lot of YouTubers, a lot of smart people at Vid Summit, and you know, I'm sure it would spark conversations, at which point I would also be able to mention the channels who got me out there. So I thought it was a cool idea, and I'm going to try to put it together and see how it goes. I just have to figure out what would be reasonable, because you can only fit, even if you could fit five channels on each shirt, or 5 channels on the front and the back, that would be 10. That would be 30 total sponsors. So you'd have to come up with a dollar amount that was like the VidPow shirt. I haven't seen the VidPow shirt. I'll have to check it out. Car Galaxy Studio says, how much would you charge for that? I'm still trying to figure that out. Obviously, it's got to be reasonable. Dan, question I have, Dutch speaking, limited audience people. Should I try English? If you can do your content in English, absolutely. So Vid Summit, perfect example. I ran into a lady at Vid Summit, and I can't remember her name there, but she actually did the same content. She had 2 channels, one channel in English, one channel in Spanish. She would make each video in English and Spanish and upload them to both channels at the same time. So she would sit down and make a content, she would run through it once, and she would do it in English, do it again in Spanish, and then upload to each. So she was targeting 2 markets, basically getting double the content, because she had the ability to speak 2 different languages, and she was able to target both the English-speaking market and the Spanish market completely separately, with essentially the same channel focused on each. So that was a good, and she was doing quite well. She had, you know, thousands of subscribers on each channel. You know, so that's certainly something. If you are bilingual or you speak multiple languages, that would definitely be a cool thing. 200. So back to Car Galaxy. Unless you brought more people, then more. Oh yeah, that'd be. So I mean, just as an example, if you tried to do a sponsorship with the T-shirt idea, and you did like $20 a sponsorship, and you had 10 per shirt, you would end up with about $600 towards the cost, which wouldn't cover all of it, but it would certainly help it a little bit. So I have to give that some thought and try to come up with a good way to do that, or even a different way to get people exposure, or do that conversation starter kind of thing. But I just thought that would be a fun way. I'll have to give it some more thought and see what actually makes sense. I speak 7 languages, but I won't go that route. Wow, that'd be a lot of channels to maintain. Rodney says the F Views shirt that Jeremy West had to get Gary V's attention out of the box. Oh, I don't think I saw that one. I'll have to look. Were you at Vid Summit, Rodney? Let's see. Cool, man. I appreciate that. Card Galaxy Studios says I definitely paid 20 for a spot. Yeah, I'll figure out the details, and I'll try to share that concept. I'm going to try to be doing live streams a little more frequently here in 2018. I don't know if I'll be able to do them every week, but I shall try to come up with a more frequent schedule, and I'll bring it back up after I can finalize it. We did. It would be. Yeah, I think we're somewhere in that area, to try to get that covered and make it viable, because it's just expensive. It really is expensive. I think it was either $1,000 or $1,200 that I had to spend. But it was definitely a good time. Hopefully, some of you guys might end up going out to Vid Summit next year. I think it'll probably be in October, so there's some time to figure it all out. But the Endeavoring family is in the house. Thanks for joining the stream. Good to see you. How things going out there? What time is it there? What does this do? Background settings. All right. So let's 12:10 p.m. on the 11th. Look at you in the future. Can you give me the lottery numbers? All right, well, if anybody wants their channel brought up on the screen, I'm happy to do that. Otherwise, I think it has been a very good stream with you guys tonight. I appreciate you guys all coming to hang out and share your opinion on this lovely little Logan Paul fiasco. It's always fun waiting for the delay. Trying to see, I think let's see how close we are here. I think we're pretty good. Maybe like 10 seconds. 10, 15, 20 second delay. Lovely Logan Paul fiasco, lovely Logan Paul fiasco. I could be one of those YouTube channels where I just say, I'm going to say lovely Logan Paul fiasco 6 million times in the next 24 hours. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that channel, but it's the most ridiculous thing in the world, and people actually watch it. Aquarium Sunshine. Let's see if I can do this here. Go to... and let's see. Alrighty. Well, I can do... I'll tell you what. I'm going to have to assume that whatever you have in writing on there, that is all good, because I don't know what it says, but alright. So we will transition here. Aquarium Sunshine's Valley. I'm assuming that your channel art tells people exactly what you're all about and what your content is. See what your videos look like here. You certainly seem to have consistent thumbnails with your branding on them, so that's good. The one thing I would notice is you're kind of working with blue up here but red down here. Has that always been the case, or have you always been red? So you may want to consider some type of tie-in between your thumbnails and your header to kind of pull those colors together and you know, kind of associate them with the channel itself. Playlists, you got some created playlists. Looks like you got a bunch. And look at your home screen. We will stop that. Created playlists. The one thing you might want to consider, and there's a lot of varying opinions on this. Looks like you have these sorted by popularity, which is good. If you have content that's time sensitive, then obviously you want your newest stuff at the top. As opposed to starting out with these created playlists, you may want to actually list some horizontal playlists at the beginning to kind of expose more of your content for people to see right when they're browsing your channel. Make sure you have your About section filled out, which you do. About 28,000 views. A fellow TubeBuddy user, so that's good. On the right track there. Cool. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I would mention, aside from what the actual content says, is maybe trying to find some type of relationship between your channel art and your thumbnail design. But otherwise, it seems to be well organized. Let me just look here on your playlists. Looks like you have descriptions on your playlists, which is also good. Yeah, so that would be the only thing that I would mention, is maybe finding a way to associate those with each other. Texas, let's see, alright. Texas style cuisine, can you... Sure thing, we'll go to that channel. Alrighty. You're making me hungry. I'll tell you that right now. Alright, so Texas style cuisine. Alright, so let's see here. I think your thumbnails work. Picture's worth 1,000 words, especially when it's food. you've got all of your playlists, and you got your descriptions. Everything looking great there. Still making me hungry. Bunch of playlists, good. Videos. Frequency 1 day, 4 days, 6 days. Certainly posting. Now I want pancakes. Thank you very much. That video seems slightly out of place with the unboxing, but cooking. Ranch hand coffee. I mean, the only thing I would say about like your unboxing video is that maybe once in a blue moon, nobody's really going to notice. But if you get too far off track like that looks like a nice camera though. If you get too far off track, that might confuse people, but obviously your channel has been around a while and it looks like it's doing well. 700,000 views, looking good. Traditionally, I would say that having your channel art actually give a little more information about what you're actually doing. I don't know if that's just simply a picture that you uploaded or there was some thought given to that, but you kind of have an obvious topic by your channel name. So I think that kind of helps in the fact that you don't really have any information up here. But if there was anything I would say about the channel, it would be maybe a little more information in your channel header. You know, whether it's your name, how often you do content, you know, what kind of content that you have. Culinary adventures of a Texican chef. You know, if it like said Texas style cuisine, you know, culinary adventures of, you know, basically that kind of thing. But it also could be that you're intentionally going for the theme of just doing the picture's worth 1,000 words and just using that. But the only thing I would say, it's kind of a really close-up picture, and I don't know if that's because of the dimensions of it, but I almost think that same picture, being able to look at it a little farther back would be even better, you know, in the same sense, like the pancakes and the food and stuff there. So, but otherwise, you seem to be doing well. All right. Sinister Selena. I think you are up on here next. Pop you open here. All right. Tabletop and video games, it's okay to be a noob. That's interesting because I actually, not that I've posted much on it, but I actually have a YouTube channel called Noob Gaming, I think is what I named it. All right. So obviously we're dealing in gaming, tabletop. I assume this is at like card game, tabletop type deals. Looks like it. And are these the little miniature painting things? Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. So Fallout the board game. You got your descriptions for your playlists, which is good. You have your logo up here. It looks like it's a little far to the right for mobile. You'll have to let me know in the chat whether that displays good in mobile, because I almost feel like it, maybe, I'm not sure. That's just something to check on mobile to make sure that the edge of your Selena actually fits in the mobile view. Just here, one of the things that's good practice on thumbnails is to not put text in the lower right-hand corner, because as you can see, the timestamp gets in the way. The timestamp will always be there. When you're looking at it on mobile, the timestamp actually takes up a bigger space. So you always want to keep your text either up here or to the left. Try to avoid these lower right-hand corners like these are, that they're all hidden behind the timestamp. Now I'm thinking, it looks like you're doing different color borders based on topic, I think. So you have Game of Thrones, Monopoly. Now is that a playlist? A playlist with one video, is that? Or is that just an individual video highlight? My personal preference on this is to try to do horizontal playlists, just because it uses a lot of the, makes good use of the real estate. Whereas some of these other ones, you don't necessarily need to show somebody the description to get their attention, which is why I like the horizontal playlist, because you just get the title and the thumbnail, and then you can give an overview of what the content of the playlist are. But people have different opinions on that. Like this, it gets in and you actually see the description and whatnot, but oops, you don't necessarily need to show somebody the description to get them to click on a video, which is why I like this kind of setup. One of the other things that you can do is sort your playlists by most popular, with the idea that you put your most popular content in front of them first, so you maybe have a better chance of getting their attention, because obviously the popular videos have been doing something right. One of the other things that I've done on my channel is, instead of ordering them by most views, I've actually ordered them by most subscribers gained, with the idea of trying to grow the subscriber base on my channel using that approach. Sure your about section, the tabletop gaming enthusiast, especially love miniature wargaming, unboxing, painting. Okay, you seem to be staying true to that. The only other thing that I would add is there's not a whole lot of connection between your thumbnails and your channel branding, so you might want to look for ways to, whether it just be taking this Sinister Selena and getting it in your thumbnail, or finding some other way to kind of tie the thumbnails to the actual channel. And one of the ways that I like to describe this is, if somebody's watching one of your videos and you have all the recommended videos on the right hand side of the screen, so you're watching and you have everything on this side of the screen, you want people to be able to quickly identify your other videos, because if they're into your content, you want them to check out more, and if they can't figure out which videos are yours, they might not spend too much time trying to figure that out. So that's why I would go that route. All right. We did that. Selena, always been red. Channel art is indeed with red now. Cool. Next channel is going live today. Cool. Horizontal playlist, less scrolling for the viewer. That's true. It just gets a lot of content up there in the smallest amount of space, which is why they're my preference. Aquarium Sunshine, you've helped a lot about channel art. Totally agree with you. Thanks. I appreciate you joining the stream and hanging out. Where did I just go here? Oh wait, where was I? Rodney says, I think, where did I see it? Oh yeah, Hungry Now. Yeah, me too. That channel looked really good. I've been seeing a lot of cooking channels, and apparently I need to live closer to a cooking YouTuber, help them test their food. All right, barbecue chicken in the pic. Picture that rib, have your channel name. Okay, it's Taylor. You can do mine. Yep, we'll definitely take a look. New thumbnail style. Let me pull up your channel real quick, and we will take a peek at that. right. This is the OK's Taylor, Sons of Anarchy. And I think you do, yeah, Mayans MC, I think, is the other thing that you focused on. I like this channel. Cool channel art. And let's see, the most recent videos here. Kind of like a... They almost have kind of like those faded and outs and show kind of like a still frame where they like fade to black and white, or almost like a comic booky kind of feel to them. Let's see here. The only challenge I see with these is I cannot. Not sure what's going to happen if I try to do this like this. It's really hard to figure out what that is. Oh, wow. It just like caught up with the fact that... is that like a logo that you have there? Let me get back to a normal width here. Just gonna jump in the chat and see what that little icon is up there. Oh my goodness. Apparently doing that affects every single window, including the chat. Got really, really small. Trying to find the chat. Play with a new thumbnail. Have an artist working on a new banner this week. Oh, cool. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Keeps wanting to jump back to the top of the screen here. All right, let's get to the bottom. Texas Style Cuisine says, "Come on over. I'll be right there." It's my logo. All right, so if it's your logo, you might want to try to get it a little bit bigger, especially if it's hard to see on PC. Then it's definitely going to be hard to see on mobile. I think it's cool that you have a logo now, and I'm assuming that your new channel art is going to incorporate that logo in some way. But maybe try to get it a little bit bigger so you can actually make out what it is. So here's the interesting. Well, yeah. I mean, because you don't. I know you don't appear. I know you've appeared in some of your previous videos, but I don't think, as a rule, you appear in your new videos, right? If you don't appear in your videos, then having separate branding can definitely work. If you're somebody that appears in your videos, you can also have yourself as your branding. One of the things that I transitioned to is I originally started with a logo and my face on all my thumbnails, and then opted to remove my logo because my face was actually the branding that people would kind of become familiar with. So I didn't really need to have my logo and my face. But if you don't appear in your videos, then yeah, it's a good idea to kind of use that branding to tie everything together. Hopefully not bad comments. But people on the internet find all kinds of ways to be inappropriate, so probably not surprising. All right, so... But yeah, I think these are cool looking thumbnails. I think people will notice them. As long as you have the high contrast behind your thumbnails, that would be the only thing I might consider a way to make that a little more prominent. Because I mean, I honestly can't even tell. I can't tell what that. It looks like a person. When I first saw it, I thought it was like a it kind of looked like the Grim Reaper with a sickle over its head, but I can't really tell what it is. So if you can find a way to make that a little bit larger, I think that would be cool. Yeah, well, that is the internet, unfortunately. I hear you. All right. I took a break from, yeah. What are your videos about? Asked Mojo99. Thanks for joining the live stream. Okay, as Taylor does the Sons of Anarchy and Mayans MC videos. All right. Yeah, I mean that's definitely something you got to deal with. So, are you going to change your all of your branding to your logo, and kind of stay behind the scenes, and then not have to worry about all the creeps? All right, if anybody else wants me to bring up their channel, I certainly will. I enjoyed having the opportunity to chat about Logan Paul and YouTube's response. It'll be interesting to see exactly what comes of that. Well, that's a bummer. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's going to happen. That's going to happen on the internet, and probably more so for some people than others. Not sure how you get the all the engagement, but ignore the people, you know? Where's everybody at tonight? So right now it's 10:40 in upstate New York, and it's been fairly cold and freezing for a couple weeks now. So okay, Taylor, would you make a video on talking about how channels do not moderate their comment section and your opinion on moderating? Yeah, see, that is a good topic, because the bigger channels just completely abandon their chat, and it just becomes like, especially like even in my niche, where you have somebody like Tim Schmoyer who has how-to videos, you know, and best practices, and then you go into some of the videos and it's thousands of people doing sub for sub. It's ridiculous. So I think there has to be a better way to be able to manage such a large volume of commenters. I mean, I moderate my own chat, and I kick people out who do anything that's, you know, against terms of service, and that the sub for subbers and all those people. And I haven't had too many. You know, I probably don't have the same problems that you would, but for the most part, it hasn't been awful. The worst interaction I ever had was with that guy that had the creepy channel. I'm north of Albany, so I am eastern upstate New York. But I drive close to Niagara Falls. Well, sort of. I drive south of Niagara Falls once a year, because me and my family drive to Wisconsin. Josie Potts says, I'm in Canada too, closer to Toronto. My ancestors actually came to New York through Ontario. We're French Canadian, among many other things. That's South Texas. All right, South Texas style cuisine. We just got to figure out how you can package that stuff up and send me some. Let's see here. Oh, it's not in there. Interesting. Let's see. Do any of you guys do merch for your channels? Like t-shirts or anything? Is that Jocelyn Poitier? See, my last name looks like it should be like Currier, but it's Currier, so we kind of dropped any you know, French sounding name quite a few generations ago. I think it was Carrier when they came over from France. Yeah, that's tough. Patreon is a challenge. You really have to come up with a good trade-off. T-shirts, need to get back to designing some more. Yeah, I do have an account on Merch by Amazon. That's where I do T-shirts. And I'll probably expand that a lot this year and try to get it a little more active. Bye-bye. Ah, I gotcha. Yeah, I can certainly see that as a problem. Site using Printful. Season I'm trying to get ready. And my teas. Well, hey, Texas style cuisine. If you start doing barbecue sauce, talk to me. I have a channel called The Average Dan that does RV camping. If you wanna send some, I'll do a video on it on my channel. We'll try it out. Yeah, the internet can be unfortunate sometimes. So I think if you're going to kind of stay behind the scenes, maybe you might have an opportunity to do, you know, kind of do some kind of Patreon thing again. I live on Amazon. JD Archer, thanks for coming to the live stream. Hey, it's Dre. Thanks for stopping by. We were chatting about Logan Paul and the fact that YouTube finally said something about it, although not overly significant. We shall see how that all goes. Yeah, my affiliates were really weird. They actually, I think here, let me fix this. I think I just stepped on my webcam wire. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. We on the other channel we just bought a new camper. So we bought it at the end of this past season. So when the summer rolls around, we're going to be doing a lot of camping, and I hope to do a ton of content on the Average Dan channel about that whole thing. Oh, I feel like we've crossed into some new territory with these random comments from people that don't make any sense. Creator Fundamentals is grown up. I'm sure Crassgraph Delos goes, whatever that Delos goes, so war. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, you know you made it when. Does anybody have any other YouTube-related questions or anything that they would like to chat about before we end the stream? I have no place to go if you have something you want to talk about. I mean, I should probably go to bed at some point, but it's still early in my world. Stylish Dad, thanks for joining the stream, man. I appreciate it. Just hanging out. We were talking about Logan Paul and the fact that YouTube finally responded. If you hadn't seen it yet, that's the reply from YouTube today, basically saying that they had taken some steps and they're considering future steps. And, you know, only time will tell exactly what that all looks like. So we shall see if they actually do anything significant. Yeah, I did get the mic issue fixed with the Rode. So the problem with the Rode mic plugged directly into the T7i, which is actually back here. So there was actually a that's the new camera we're doing videos on now on the channel, and it's kicking my butt trying to put that center frame. But initially when I had this plugged in here, it sounded awful, and I was picking up a ton of background noise. And it turns out that the mic input on the cameras are notoriously high. So what I actually did is I lowered the input down to like 25% on its setting. They're just little bars. It's not an actual number. And it sounds much better now. I got to do something now. I think now that I have the newer camera, I can put it a little bit farther away. And one of the problems that I'm having is the space kind of making the audio sound tinny. Obviously for my live streams, I use an MXL 770 connected to H4n Pro that goes into that, and I use the C920 for the live streams. But I need to do some soundproofing to kind of get that tied in. Mahesh Dantham, how many days will it take to remonetize our channel? Remonetize. I guess that depends on how it got demonetized. Is it your entire channel? Same question asked exactly twice. We're losing our thing here. I guess I would have to know what actually happened to your channel to get it, well, that's an interesting situation. You... Oh, that's... Okay, that's right. No. Well, I don't know... There doesn't seem to be any videos on your channel, so I'm not really sure why monetization would be a significant factor for you. And you also don't have any subscribers, so I'm assuming... Not really sure what the purpose of that whole transaction's about. Texas Style Cuisine, have a good night. I appreciate you coming and hanging out in the live stream. Hopefully we'll be doing these more often. And I will see you guys on a more regular basis. Well, the other thing, Card Galaxy Studios, the lav mic, I actually bought one of those, and I was initially disappointed with how bad it sounded, and I think it was basically the same problem, where the input was set so high that it was picking up everything. It was like picking up just white noise from all over the house. So I'm hoping I can get better sound out of it as well. JD Archer says a lot of family vlogs and kids channels have been affected, been deleted, or demonetized. Yeah, I mean that's definitely a big deal, and it's definitely an even bigger deal when you consider the channels that were thought to be kid friendly that got completely shut down. And then you have Logan Paul do what he did and really didn't get any visible punishment. So it's got to be frustrating for a lot of people. Hopefully YouTube has some grand plan that they'll share with us, and we'll be impressed, and it won't affect small YouTubers more than Logan Paul. But yeah, lowering the input on the Canon down to like 25% or whatever that marker indicates, down in that general area, helped a lot. Texas Style Cuisine, good night, my friend. Thank you for joining the stream. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Well, the one good thing, Rodney, when I had the H4n plugged in, I could plug in the H4n to my MXL mic and then plug the output from the H4n directly into the camera, and then the audio was already synced on the video. I read where some people will actually record on the H4n and then sync them, but if you can feed it right into the camera, that certainly is an easier approach for me. I'm not looking for, movie quality sound. I just need to have sound that doesn't sound horrible. Welcome to Creator Fundamentals, where our sound's not horrible. It's good to have goals. Ah, okay. I hear you then. Yeah, I'm surprised YouTube let loose with the ability to completely completely demonetize a channel or completely shut down a channel to an automated process, because that just seems kind of scary. My guard here wants to completely fall. You'd think after all this time they'd come up with a better way to keep those attached, but what are you gonna do? All right. Any other questions or YouTube related stuff that anybody wants to chat about? So this past week I put out videos. Obviously the Logan Paul was a few days ago. We also did videos on TubeBuddy just came out with a change to their keyword rankings, which is pretty cool. You definitely want to check out that video. I put that out yesterday. Also, I covered the story about all the channels that have reached 10,000 views and have been set to be reviewed for monetization that have been left in limbo now for as much as 2 months. There's a lot of channels that made that request back in November that still haven't been monetized. That video was also a couple days ago. And I've recently put out a few OBS tutorials in how to get your live streams going and also how to set up scenes. And then at the end of last week, it was must-have apps for YouTubers in 2018, where I cover 5 apps that I think are must-haves and definitely can help you be more efficient on YouTube. So. Cool. Thanks for watching, Taylor. All right, JD, have a good night. So the 2018, so basically one of the things you do when you're trying to target keyword phrases is you're trying to find the lesser competitive keyword phrases in an effort to be the top dog in the smaller pool. So rather than trying to focus on a keyword phrase that a ton of people are using, you try to break it down into something that people may be searching but are searching for in smaller volumes. The reason that I went with adding the 2018 on a lot of those videos was, one, to get a head start on the other larger channels that were ultimately going to make that content focus on 2018, to kind of try to squeeze this channel in the door ahead of time and try to gain a footing before they started making content, because I started doing it in October. The other thing is, so if you did something like how to grow your YouTube channel and then you add 2018 to the end of it, if you're relevant enough in how to grow your YouTube channel, you're still going to rank for that keyword phrase. But you may also rank for the lesser competitive how to grow your YouTube channel in 2018. So you start getting views and it's kind of a trickle effect. And that's how smaller channels actually help grow their channel, is by trying to target keyword phrases on phrases that people are actually searching for, but in much smaller quantities. So you end up getting your video in the first top 5 search results, and you trickle those videos in, or those views in, until your channel or video builds up enough watch time and eventually starts to get promoted more, and that helps. Eventually you'll have your videos that kind of pop and take off and start getting suggested, and then stuff really starts to cook. So the goal of the 2018 and all the videos that I did on that were to get that smaller piece of the pie ahead of time, and try to get this channel associated with YouTube growth in 2018, to kind of hit the ground running when 2018 actually came around. Car Galaxy Studios, the TubeBuddy thing blew my mind. I can't understand why it wasn't looking at the more general audience search results. I think it was from what I understand, it's a lot harder to do the incognito mode search within the plugin that's in your browser. I think that's what the challenge was there. But they finally were able to implement it. So, and I also think that there was, at some point, there seemed to be either a YouTube test or a YouTube change that really messed with those numbers. Because I had always pretty much used those numbers without doing the incognito search until there was some change on YouTube where suddenly every single keyword phrase that I was using came back with a rank of 3. I'm like, something's different. So that's when I started doing the incognito mode as a check, kind of like a sanity check to make sure that I was getting relevant results. And I don't know if that's the time that actually prompted them to decide that they needed to do the incognito searches, but I think something might have changed on YouTube that ultimately put them down that path. Related videos in what sense? Hey, it's Dre says, my latest video will hopefully be able to squeeze. I think it's the only video of its kind talking about the shoe I bought. Unfortunately, the Under Armour association makes it slightly harder to rank. Yeah, so Dre, when you're doing that keyword research and you're dealing, even if you have something like Under Armour, so you type in Under Armour and you hit space and you see what other longer keyword phrases populate, and then you try to find one that doesn't have a ton of competition. I believe that they're actually displayed in popularity. So if you work your way down that list and you find Under Armour space something that has less results and potentially less competition, then that's what you want to focus on. You can also, if you type in a keyword phrase like Under Armour and you put your cursor to the beginning of it and then you type underscore and hit the space bar, it will show you keyword phrases that end in Under Armour. So it'll show you words that are being searched in front of those, and you can actually use that to kind of come up with a keyword phrase to focus on. Good night, Car Galaxy Studios. I'll have more information on that t-shirt idea, so I'll keep you posted. Querying right sidebar, if you use every time a keyword, would that affect? No, it doesn't. Apparently that's how it used to work, and people used to do that, and some people still do that, in terms of like putting your channel name as a keyword in every single thing. But I used to do that and never saw the slightest bit of use of that as a way to associate videos together. So my thought would be no. Your best bet when you're using up the space in your keyword searches, or try to make sure that all of your keyword searches are related to a single topic. You know, so you identify your keyword phrase that you're going to make your video about, preferably before you've made your video. That way, when in the first 10 seconds or so, you can restate that keyword phrase in the video itself, so it ends up in your closed captioning, and it's one more piece of metadata for YouTube to figure out what your video's about. And then you build the rest of your keyword phrases around that topic. Yeah, if you're getting 15 videos and you're recommended on the sidebar, then you're doing really well. All my videos vary. That's the other interesting thing is that if you go into incognito mode, a lot more of your videos show up in the sidebar. Query Masters YouTube, yes, they do use CC as metadata. So if you have, I would definitely recommend that you set your language in YouTube, and you will get your closed captioning listed. And yeah, they do look at those. So in a perfect world, to make your video the most relevant about the topic that you're covering, you would start your keyword research. You would come up with a keyword phrase that people are using that isn't super competitive, that you potentially can rank in, and then you can make that one of your keywords, your title, restate it in the very beginning of your description, and then state it in the first 10 seconds of your video. Which, if you've ever noticed in all of my videos, if I've titled something, I mean, with the exception obviously of this video because it was kind of an odd title, but that is the formula that I use. That exact keyword phrase is going to appear as my title, right within my description, as one of my keyword phrases, and it's also going to be the first thing I say in my videos. I mean, sometimes I'll add little fillers. You know, like in this video, I'm going to cover 5 apps every YouTuber must have in 2018. Yeah, I don't know how it handles the whole different language thing with regards to monetization. But it's okay because all my videos are in English and every one of my videos gets demonetized too. Yeah, I don't know what all the languages are that they actually have available for the automatic closed captioning. I just know that they do it for English. You might want to check and see how that works. I think I'm going to throw this chair out when this live stream ends. Oh, that's rough. 50% correct. It's pretty good in English. I mean, they don't, obviously there's no punctuation or anything, and they always tend to spell my name wrong. I mean, it's like Currier and Ives. You'd think they would get it right, but they always spell it wrong. Okay, as Taylor asks, do you think YouTube will come up with a better way to express concerns rather than their Twitter they currently have copy-pasting responses? It's kind of a sad state when they have to use a different social media platform to help people communicate, when you really think about it. I don't know. They got to come up with something, because I think they're just dealing with such a sheer volume. It really doesn't even make sense for them to have people manning the whole Twitter account, because, like you said, all they do is copy and paste the same results. One of the things that I've done in the past is go to that, actually look at tweets to that Team YouTube Twitter handle to see what people are talking about as potential video ideas. Will YouTube ever learn to communicate? Well, I don't know. They do have, what is it called? Is it video? The closest thing they've had, is it, no, is it Creator? Let me see if I can find it for you guys. Creator. There is a YouTube channel called Creator Insider, which is actually a, it's actually run by a YouTube employee who does updates on things. Yeah, Taylor, I like seeing the when you see the same responses, but you see them in a bunch of different languages. You can tell it's the same response, but it's in a, you know, all the various. It makes me curious who they actually hire to handle those things. Yeah, I mean, Creator Insider covers some stuff, but that's one of the reasons that I've always made it a point to do newsy stuff on this channel. I mean, I do the how-to content and stuff and best practices, but I've always tried to have like a YouTube news portion. Which one of these days I'm actually going to format those videos to be a little more newsy looking, just for the fun of it, just to differentiate them in terms of the type of content that I do. But you know, anything that's any YouTuber related thing, anything that affects YouTubers. I covered the PewDiePie issue, obviously, and Logan Paul, and those completely misguided kids who shot each other. The girl who shot her boyfriend or husband in the chest with a Desert Eagle and thought a book would stop it. Hey, Doug just shouted you out. Muzamil Aved? Probably mispronouncing that. Javid? Muzamil Javid. Consider yourself shouted out. Here, let's see something. What is your channel about, Muzamil? Nath the Great, what's going on? Thanks for joining the stream. And for the record, I've been shouted out by some pretty big channels. Doesn't help that much. Unless somebody really leans into a shout out, they don't really help your channel grow. They'd basically have to, you know, they'd have to rave about you to really have it have any positive impact on your channel. The most success I ever had in somebody else's live stream of growing my channel, I think, was giving super chats to, who was it? It was either Roberto Blake or Tim Schmoyer or somebody. And I think I left a live stream with like 8 new subscribers. But it's not the norm. So I've given a lot of money on super chat to those guys. And it typically has no impact. Well, hey, I have plenty of videos for you to watch to learn how to grow your channel, so I definitely recommend you check them out. Yeah, Nick Nimmin. Yeah, I think I went from Daryl Eves to Nick Nimmin to probably Tim Schmoyer, and then Brian G. Johnson, and then Roberto Blake. Yeah, the general rule of thumb is anytime you ask people to pay attention to you, they're much more likely to not pay attention to you. So it's much better to join communities and be a productive member of the community and interact with each other rather than asking for people to look at your channel or sub to your channel or shout you out. None of that stuff is really going to help you grow. Nathan Great, it will be available on replay. We're all kind of waiting in limbo to see what YouTube's next move is, but... Hey, take care, Ronnie. Thanks for hanging out. End up making so many more... Yeah, I'm sure when you throw out the living in South Korea with 7 kids, that gets people's attention. Creator Fundamentals, if you were to choose one other YouTube instructor you look up to, who would it be? Schmoyer Eves, Nick Nimmin, Brian G, just one. I would probably have to base that on who was the most help to me, and I would probably have to go with Brian G. Johnson. Only because I've had a lot more conversations with him. I was actually a Patreon of his. I followed Nick Nimmin's videos a lot for like thumbnail and watched it, but I didn't really didn't really have ongoing conversations with him about it. It was just kind of every once in a while I'll talk to him and ask him his opinion on something. But it would have to be Brian G. Johnson, only because the amount that I talk with him or have in the past. I was probably a Patreon of his for 3 months, and I got to meet it when I went to Vid Summit. I got to meet them all. Went out to dinner with Roberto Blake and Brian G. Johnson and Nick Nimmin, and went out for fried chicken and waffles. Actually, it was pretty good. Took an Uber with Brian G. Johnson in Los Angeles. Alrighty, well, I think we have done a great job this evening. Good conversation. I appreciate you guys hanging out and chatting with me about the latest interesting topic here on YouTube, which of course was Logan Paul, and the fact that YouTube finally had something to say. I'm sure there will be more to talk about on this topic in the future. If you have not yet done so and you would like to continue to receive notifications on videos that help you simplify YouTube, please consider subscribing to the channel and clicking that bell notification icon so you don't miss a thing. I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight. I appreciate you guys hanging out. As always, my name is Dan Currier, and you're watching Creator Fundamentals. Thanks, guys.